Moving on to our next one, we got Georgia at home taking on Missouri. This is another huge game right now as far as the playoff picture comes into. Right now, these are the top two teams in the East. Missouri has a chance to play a huge upset factor. Missouri still has two, in my opinion, big games ahead of them at Georgia, and then you got Tennessee at home. Georgia has more. They've got probably three big games with Missouri, Ole Miss, and then going to Tennessee to play at the end of the season. These are two teams that I feel like are complete opposites, right? So Missouri's going to come into the game and they're going to attack early and attack fast and put up points early on in the game. Missouri's problem is sustaining that for a full game. In the second half of games, they seem to take their foot off the gas a little too early, and then they have trouble revving it back up to get back up and get back into some of these games. Now, Georgia, on the other hand, has a problem with starting the game out fast. They'll wait, linger around, and hang out till halftime. And after halftime, then they come out, look like Georgia of old, shut everybody down, and look dominant on offense. And both of these teams showed that in their last games. But especially you got Missouri taking on South Carolina. They came out straight, destroyed them in the first half of that game. But in the second half, you only put up 10 points against the South Carolina team that you had over and done with. And just should have continued to hit them hard. Now, Georgia, you start out slow again in the first quarter. You're up 10-7. Florida hits you first, but then after you kind of get the lead back, then you start to take off again. My thing with this Georgia team is how would they look now that Kirby Smart, for whatever reason, he don't got to make up any storylines anymore to put in his locker room. He's got the motivation now with them getting knocked out of that number one spot and pulled back to number two. Carson Beck looks a lot more comfortable now than he has in the earlier part of the season. Edwards, as a running back for them, looks dominant right now. The receivers are coming together as a receiver core more so than just depending on Brock Bowers. I think Georgia has this one. I don't think you'll catch them looking forward, but I think now we'll finally see in this last stretch for Georgia, the Georgia that we've seen for the past couple of years, and see the talent on this team really flash and explode to get these statement wins to show like, hey, we are still supposed to be the number one team in the country and we're supposed to win games like this. I don't think Missouri is just there yet as far as winning these big games, especially on the road. If this game was in Missouri, like last season, Missouri gave them a hard time until the very end of that game where Georgia pulled it out. But being that it's on the road, I don't think Missouri is ready for a true road test of this magnitude, being in a sold-out crowd down there in Athens. But I got Georgia in this one.
So I'm really looking forward to this game because Georgia hasn't really faced a team that has the ability to score points like Missouri. Okay. That's my main key. We're gonna see what Georgia is truly made of this weekend. Now, they walloped Florida last week, but it ain't like they had to face a high-powered offense in Florida. Okay, there's a reason why stats are so fantastic. The team has not been dealing with Tua and Tyree. Okay, that Georgia has been. This is where their schedule really starts to really heat up. The Gators, they're good. You know, Graham Mertz is an efficient quarterback in the mid-range passing game, but the Bulldogs only faced one bomber that gave them the most trouble. And who was that? Your boy, Spencer Rattler, South Carolina. Now, in that game, Rattler only went for 256, but it was enough to make it real tough for a 24-14 Georgia win. Now, that was early in the season, and we figured Carolina was going to be able to give Georgia some problems. As good as the Dogs' defense is overall, their pass defense is just okay. I've been talking about the D-line all season. It's just okay. They're not generating a lot of pressure. They're also not getting a whole lot of sacks, which could actually play into Missouri's favor. Okay? Because all their quarterback want to do is sit back there and throw dimes. He'll also run it too, right? But I ain't gotten to them yet.
Mm-hmm.
Missouri's quarterback, Cook, has been terrific. And when I say terrific, I mean, he's been even more than terrific when he has time to throw, right? 15 touchdown passes, 3 picks. They have a running game also, Missouri does. Okay, Missouri's not void of a running attack. I say all that to say Missouri is built to make this a really, really difficult game for Georgia. They have a very solid kicking game. Missouri does. Why does that matter? I don't know. They could end up in a game. Last year, this game came down to the wire, right? Missouri has confidence, y'all. They have a lot of confidence here. Missouri's feeling like they let one slip last year at home. They want to come and get this one. And guess what? They are better this year than they were last year. Okay. Missouri's lone loss came against the LSU team. That offense that LSU just wouldn't stop scoring, right? It was one of those situations to where Missouri's quarterback threw 2 interceptions. One was a late pick 6. They also missed a field goal in the game. That's 10 points that they gave up that could have been the difference in a win in that ball game. I say all this to say, gentlemen, Missouri is the best thing that Georgia is going to see at this particular point in time in the season. If Georgia is sleepwalking, and I don't think Kirby Smart is going to sleepwalk through this game. Kirby Smart remembered being on the sidelines last year when Missouri almost beat them, when they were much better than they are this year. Kirby Smart knows this is not my best. This is not his best team. Missouri's better. Now, this is not the Georgia team of the last few years. The SEC, it's all right. It's not what it normally has been. The team that the Georgia has faced so far this season, they've been all right. We get into the meat of their schedule. But even without Brock Bowers, Georgia's defense has stepped up. The running game, they're starting to take over. Like you said, Van, they listen, running game is there. Beck is getting comfortable. McConkey, I don't even know how you stop him. You know what I'm saying? He finds himself open in the middle, regardless of who they're playing against. Missouri, I think, is more battle tested. Georgia hadn't really played anybody yet. Man, it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one. Georgia pulls away late. Missouri just doesn't quite have enough depth, if you ask me. But Missouri does make this a game that somebody like Lane Kiffin can turn around and go and look at the film and end up making a significant impact on the game that's coming up in a couple of weeks when Ole Miss comes to town, right? So Missouri does their job in this game. Missouri is the second best team in the East, in my opinion, easily. This is not about to be Georgia, Florida. This game's gonna be much closer than everybody thinks. Missouri's got a really, really, really good football team and have a really good coach who's got their team fired up to play this game. And they also got some revenge. Listen, this game may be a 13-point game, fellas. And this game, Georgia may not pull away until very, very, very late. Missouri's, they're going to be there. I watched their quarterback sit back and throw passes. He goes through all of his reads, all of his progressions. The offensive line protects. Again, Georgia's D-line is not great. The recipe is there. I don't think it's going to happen. But you're going to see Georgia get tested more than they have been all this year, last year, and the year before that. Missouri's coming to play. I got Georgia winning the game by 10, but it ain't finna be easy.
So this one is a very, very interesting game to me. And I think that the country needs to be put on notice about who Missouri is as a team. And they're a very good football team. I don't think that many people predicted what they were going to be this season. But the season, to me, is going to fall in Missouri's offensive hands. The reason why I say that is because Georgia has not given up more than 21 points in a single football game this season. And for the comment section, I'm going to go ahead and let y'all take a guess at which team put up the most points on Georgia this year. It might be shocking to a lot of people. So, in the understanding of that right there, I think Georgia's defense at home is going to be hyped up for this game. Missouri's best chance at beating Georgia is getting out to an early jump and shutting that defense up early. What I mean by that is you got to probably pull up at least like 17 points, Missouri, in the first half. That's not going to be an easy task. But the thing that's going to help Missouri is by getting in the end zone. I think they're going to be able to move the ball. I think they're going to have over probably 250 and 300 yards plus offense on Georgia's defense. So they're going to be able to move that ball pretty consistently. But can you get touchdowns instead of field goals to me? To me, overall, that's going to be the tall tale of this game. Is can Missouri get in the end zone consistently? And I think they're going to need to get in the end zone 4 to 5 times to beat this Georgia team. What cannot happen is some things that happen against the LSU team in the form of turnovers. You cannot turn the ball over at Missouri if you're going to win this game at Georgia. Now, do I think you're going to keep this game clean in the turnover column? I'm going to say no. But I don't think it's going to be Cook's issue. I think it's going to be a fumble issue because Georgia's defense, after seeing that ranking come out, they're going to be some hard-hitting jokers in that backfield, in that secondary that's going to be flying at the ball. So Missouri is going to have a shot to win this game if they can put up 17 points in the first half. Mark my words on that right there. But what I've seen from Missouri is their second half is not going to show up to the game. The second half, they're going to fall short of this, and I think they're not going to be able to stop Georgia's offense by getting in the end zone. I got Georgia putting up points. I know, Sean, you think it's going to be tight. I got Georgia's team putting up points in this Saturday's game. So I got Georgia winning this game 38-24. I think it will be close to 3 quarters, but I think Georgia has that DNA that we've seen from the old Alabama teams. I'm talking about from like 2010 to 2017, where we're going to beat you up so much in these first 3 quarters that you're not going to have the energy or the momentum to come through in the fourth quarter. And I think that's what Georgia's going to bring to the table Saturday. So I think they are going to get past this one. I know I said in our last week's video, there's a loss coming from Georgia, and I can't wait to get to it. But it's not going to be this week, dogs. Y'all not going to lose this game. Y'all going to get this one pretty convincingly in my eyes, just because I think y'all are the overall better team. Missouri's probably like 2 years away from truly challenging Georgia in the East. The East is going to be decided this Saturday, though. So, Missouri, if you're ever going to have an opportunity, if you're ever going to have a shot in the dark at doing it, this is your biggest chance to do it because it's so close right now. But can they give Georgia that first loss? It's not going to happen this week. Georgia's going to be motivated. They're going to be riled up. They're going to be ready to goddamn roll, especially after these college football rankings coming out yesterday that everybody, I think, was kind of shocked about, even looking at the reviews from this ranking. Teams are shocked about what went down yesterday for the college football committee. Georgia's going to have a statement to make. And I just hate that Missouri has to be the team that they're going to make the statement against. So with Mizzou fans, I really like y'all season. Y'all put together something that was shocking, but it's going to end right here in the aspects of what y'all really ceiling's going to be. Y'all not ready for the game that's going to be coming Saturday. I hope y'all keep it interesting, but I got a Dogs winning by 2 touchdowns.
That's fair.